Hello, my name is Charlene Lee, and I'm coming to you live to talk about my topic for today. How do you serve the world? And I got this topic from a conversation I had at the end of January at a conference on leadership. And it was about 200 leadership coaches from all around the world. So you can imagine it was just a wonderful experience. And at one of the networking and dinner meetings that we had, again, everyone's packed into a house. Actually, it was Marshall Goldsmith's house. And all these people are there, and we're introducing each other, getting to know each other. And this wonderful woman, her name is Julie Carrier, comes up to me and says, instead of asking, so what do you do? Where are you from? She goes, so tell me, how do you serve the world? And I was taken aback. No one had ever asked me that as a point of a conversation starter. And I thought to myself, how do I serve the world? How do I serve the world? And it struck me that this is such a great question because it stopped me in my tracks and I didn't have a good answer. So I fumbled around and then I realized what I say to people all the time and in my work and in the writing, and it's on my LinkedIn page even, it says, my purpose and my statement is I help leaders thrive with disruption. So that finally got out of my mouth, but it took me a while to figure that out. And I realized that I don't enter every single day thinking about how will I serve the world. I have my to-do list, I have my things, but this purpose, this centering of my world of what I do is not at the very forefront. And so what I wanted to talk today is how do we shift our mindsets from thinking about what we do to how we serve? Because I believe that if we can shift that mindset, it'll become such a life-changing force in what we do every day. It'll give us that sense of purpose. So I think about this idea of service as not so much like how do we serve the world in a very kind of theoretical way, but it's how do we actually have impact? How do we make a difference in the world? And I wanted to think that one of the ways that I did this was with my children. I would ask them, and they would say, well, Mom, how do I think about what I want to be? What do I want to do? And I said, in the end, there are just two things that I think are really important. I want you to be happy, and I want to make sure that you are a contributing member of society. And even now, as they're college students, they think about this and remember it because they're thinking, how do I actually do this? How do I think about how I'm going to be in the world and serving the world? So one of the things I do want to talk about today, and would love to get your comments on this too, is how do you think you are serving the world? How are you making a difference? And how are you going to become a contributing member of society? How will you serve the world? So I did a couple of different ideas. I put together a few thoughts about how you could actually do this. The first one, and there's 3 steps. I think there are 3 things that you can do. First of all, make sure that you understand what is it that motivates you, because if you're going to make this a center of your life, it's got to be meaningful to you. So how do you figure what's meaningful to you? I recently spoke to a group of college students, and it's a broadcast to many different campuses all around the U.S. And one of the things, the huge truck going by, one of the things they keep asking me is like, how do I figure out my life? How do I figure out the path that I'm going to? And they're in this wonderful world of exploration at this point. And so what I encourage them to do, and I encourage you to do, is to keep an audit. Keep a journal. If you're not doing this already, audit your week or go back a week and audit it. And find out what are the things that you're grateful for? What are the things that made you really excited? How do you think about the world coming together for you? What are the things that brought a smile to your face? Because when you understand what the highlights were of the past week, then that gives you a great sense of what is it that gets you excited. These are the places where it will be just fantastic. So I would love for you to just put into the chat now, what are the things that get you excited? How do you think about the world that makes you get excited, that helps you think about the world being a better place? So while I'm waiting for the chats to come through, I just want to say hello to a couple people. I see Himu on Facebook, so that's great to see you there. And let's see, who else is here? I got some people on Periscope and YouTube coming too as well. Got a lot of people on LinkedIn. Hello, folks. We got Maria coming in from Athens, Greece, from Egypt. And then we also have people from Turkey, from Spain, very international. We've got Lagos in Nigeria. So we've got a lot of people coming in here from all around the world. So I would love to get your perspectives on this first question is, how do you think about what gets you excited? What are the things that make you really happy? So I'll give you an example of what I do. One of the things I realized is that I really enjoy meeting and talking to people about how the ideas that I may have just given a speech about or done a workshop for, what resonates with them. And so this is what often happens. I get off a stage after a speech. There's a bunch of people who want to talk to me. They go, great speech. I'm like, thank you so much. What is your takeaway from this? And I'm really curious to know because I want to help them consolidate all of the things that they just heard for the past half hour or an hour and make it a very clear takeaway from them. But it's also just great for me because it feeds my soul to know that I had an impact on them. The stories I told, which of the stories I told really resonated with them? What were the pieces of advice and pragmatic things they could do? Are they going to take home and work with? But when you can understand how people are being impacted and how you're feeling about that, that's incredibly powerful. So do an audit. What are the things that really help you figure out what gets you excited? So let me go on to the second area, which is after you do this audit of your life, of the things that you have done in the past week, or even go back over the years, where the places of excitement are, where you felt alive, where you just felt like you were on top of the world. And the things that you can do then is to find those patterns. What are the things that you do, like 1, 2, or 3 things that you do that consistently bring you that joy? And one of the things that I found, what I realized after doing this and sitting down and figuring that out, was I love creating what I call the aha moment in people. And that is when people figure out that, oh, I was moving from a place of confusion and it just not having clarity to a place like, no, I can see the light now. I can actually see something that I can act on. I call that the aha moment, and I live for that. One of the reasons why I ask people to contact me, to reach out to me after I do a speech or a workshop, I give out my email. I encourage them to connect with me on whatever social channel they want. And it's so gratifying to hear from people like, this is what the impact was. So I give, but I also get so much more from knowing that this impact is there. So find the patterns, understand, and take it to a higher level. Go deeper to find all of this out. So the third thing that I would encourage you to do is then figure out going forward how you can continue to create those moments, how you can continue to have that impact on people. So I realized through my work that I do enjoy the speaking. I do enjoy the workshops, and I definitely enjoy, for one crazy reason or another, researching and writing a lot, even though it's incredibly painful. The reason why I still do that, that writing in particular, I like to say that I like to have written a book, but I don't enjoy writing the book. The reason I do that is because I know at the end, it's going to have such an impact. And this is how I'm going to serve the world. So I encourage you to think, what is it that you can do? It may be really hard, or it may be something really natural that you can do every day. But think about what kind of impact you want to have, how you can create that impact on a consistent basis around everything that you do. Because then you can wake up every single morning, begin every interaction, begin conversations, knowing this is how you are going to serve the world, how you are going to have that impact. And the next time you're in a conversation, when you meet somebody new, whether it be on a virtual meeting or at a new meeting on Zoom or whatever virtual standard that you're on. How do you think about answering that question now, instead of when somebody asks, so where are you from? What do you do? Answer the question instead in your mind, this is how I serve the world. And be really consistent about this. This is how I serve the world. Because then people will say, wow, that's cool. Tell me more. And just in answering that question, you're going to be, again, moving forward with your purpose. So I think one of the questions I would love to encourage you to do is to put into here, what are the things, I'm hearing some of the statements from people. I'm just going to read out some of them. Layla says, my mentors who guide me every day is a purpose. Another one is providing healthy vegetables to people, providing ICT solutions through innovation, speaking hope to the underprivileged. That's incredibly powerful. So Akim, so thank you so much for sharing that. So I encourage you to think about, how are you going to serve the world? I'll put into the chat some of the things if you feel comfortable. Just continuing to think about crystallizing that thought. So, and the last thing I would say is to try it out. Once you've developed what that phrase is going to be, try it out. See what kind of reaction you get from people, and then put it into practice every single day. I literally, I have this notebook where I keep all my notes, and I have my days and my purpose has like a bunch of spaces in it. It's called the Panda Planner. And one of the things in here is the affirmation space, which talks about what am I grateful for, what am I excited for, and then there's an affirmation. And in there, I put into it a few comments about, what is it about my purpose, helping leaders thrive with disruption? How am I going to do that act of service for the day? And this is a reminder to myself that this is the reason why I wake up. I'm sitting here doing the work that I do. So as we close out today, what I want to do is thank you for joining me on this this session today. I thank you so much for watching, and I wish you all the best in finding that help. I wish you all the best in your journey to find out this and answering this question: how do you serve the world? All the best, and again, thank you for watching. Have a good day. So as we close out today, what I want to do is thank you.